Secrets of the Rich. How millionaires protected their wealth 100 years ago. You've built an empire, but as you get older, you're worried about what happens to your wealth when you're gone. The problem? Your kids and relatives didn't work for it, and they might just blow through it all. In fact, 70% of wealthy families lose their fortune by the next generation, but there's a way to protect it. Families like the Rockefellers have been doing this for generations. Even after 80 years, their wealth is still thriving. In this video, we'll reveal the secrets they used and some clever tactics on how they protected the money. Let's explore. Buy land. The wealthy have long understood that the real power comes from wealth that can't be spent or taken away. A bank full of cash can be used up. Buy land. Now that's something that lasts. Families with money use land as a safe place for their wealth, one that's not easily drained. Land isn't simple to spend and even harder to lose on daily needs. A smart move? Buy a piece of land and hold on to it. Land doesn't just sit there. As people need more space, its value keeps going up. Many families pass it down, telling the next generation to protect it. Here's the real trick. They keep the land. And by strategy number 5, they find ways to pull income from it without selling it. Invest in cash-flowing property. Another wise move, don't just buy land. Buy property that makes money on its own. Rentals, shops, hotels. These are places that pay the owner every month, even if nothing else does. Families with long-lasting wealth know this rule. Buy, hold, and let the properties bring money, like in the game Monopoly. For years, wealthy families have passed down income-making properties, teaching each generation to add 2 more rentals to the family collection. These properties quietly grow wealth, feeding the family over time. As long as people need homes, stores, or places to stay, these properties will keep paying. Build a timeless business. A business that outlasts its founder. That's a secret weapon for many wealthy families. Quick fame comes and goes, but a long-lasting business can turn a family name into a legacy. Millionaire families often chose businesses that wouldn't disappear with trends. They built companies that brought in steady profits year after year, generation after generation. Names like Hilton, Ford, and Gucci all started as family businesses with no end date. These companies became more than just businesses, they became legacies. For these families, wealth wasn't just built, but protected through businesses that survived, with each generation adding value and keeping the name alive. Buy the S&P 500. While many people talk about getting rich by finding the next big thing like Apple or Bitcoin, predicting those winners is tough. Instead, some of the wealthiest people prefer a safer long-term investment, the S&P 500. This fund includes the top 500 companies in the US, letting investors put money into all of them at once. If one company doesn't do well, it's simply replaced with a stronger one, keeping the fund steady and profitable. For example, if someone had invested $100,000 in the S&P 500 in 2010, it would be worth over $800,000 today. Over 12 years, that's an impressive 8 times the original amount. The S&P 500 usually grows around 6% each year, and even top investors like Warren Buffett have had a hard time beating it. For those interested in this reliable investment, popular options are Vanguard and Fidelity, known for their long-standing trust and security in handling investments. Buy and hold Bitcoin. Every couple of decades, a new technology changes the world. For those who recognize it early, the returns can be huge. Bitcoin is one of those technologies. While it's risky, wealthy families see its potential as a store of value that's digital, limited, and separate from traditional currencies. For those who can afford to take a small risk, buying a single Bitcoin could have a big impact over the long term. With recent events like global economic changes, inflation, and other financial struggles, the demand for digital money that isn't controlled by banks or governments has increased. There are 56 million millionaires globally, but only 21 million Bitcoin, so each millionaire couldn't even own one. Because of this limited supply, Bitcoin's value has strong potential to grow, making it a small but powerful part of a long-term wealth strategy. Buy and hold gold, silver, and gemstones. In the past, wealthy families often used gold, silver, and gemstones to keep their wealth safe and pass it down to future generations. While these materials might seem old-fashioned or boring today, they were very important for preserving wealth. These items were not just for showing off, they also had practical value. Back in the day, if someone faced financial problems, instead of getting into debt, they could sell or pawn their jewelry to get money quickly. This made it a useful way to protect wealth during hard times. Today, many people still see jewelry as a symbol of wealth, but its role has changed. Gold and silver may not seem as valuable now, especially with modern technology. It's also important to remember that industries can change quickly. For example, when Japan started farming pearls, the pearl market collapsed because there was suddenly so much supply. The same could happen with gold. As technology advances, or if we start mining gold in space, the value of gold might drop, just like the pearl industry did. Buy and hold art or other desirable collectibles. Art and collectibles have always been a way to store wealth, but the value often comes from something that can't be touched. Desire. Take Elvis's guitar, for example. It's worth much more than an identical guitar simply because of its connection to Elvis. Art is one of the last markets in the world that isn't strictly regulated. This is part of the reason why the NFT market grew so quickly. If you're looking to build long-lasting wealth, it's worth considering items that will still be in demand many years from now. Art is one of those things that has held value for generations. On the other hand, things like limited edition sneakers or digital collections may not have the same staying power and could end up as forgotten trends, just like Beanie Babies did. Never stop earning and minimize taxes. Building lasting wealth isn't just about collecting material things. It's about making sure your money continues to grow over time. The key to long-term wealth is to keep your income flowing. Even if you're already doing well financially, you don't have to stick with a job you don't enjoy just for the paycheck. However, work isn't only about earning money. Many people find meaning in their work, whether it's creating something, solving problems, or helping others. The sense of purpose that work provides can be just as important as the financial rewards. This idea isn't just for you. It's something you should pass on to your children as well. It doesn't matter how much wealth they inherit. The most important thing is that they continue to earn on their own. If your children are unable to generate income independently, they'll struggle to maintain the wealth they inherit. Teaching them the skills to create and manage their own income is crucial for securing their future. To preserve wealth, you must understand how money works. Of course, you don't need to be a financial expert yourself, but having a good accountant or financial advisor can make a big difference. One effective strategy for preserving wealth is to incorporate your business. By doing this, you can deduct certain business expenses, which can lower your taxable income. In fact, many successful people incorporate their businesses specifically for this reason. This allows them to use their business as a tool for reducing taxes and protecting their wealth. You can also involve your children in your business, even at a young age. Pay them for their ideas or any help they provide. This not only teaches them the value of earning money, but also allows you to reduce your taxable income by paying them as part of your business expenses. The goal is simple: minimize taxes as much as legally possible. Many wealthy individuals have figured out how to legally reduce their tax burden, sometimes even to the point of paying very little or no taxes at all. There are smart and legal strategies that can help you keep more of your hard-earned money. If you're interested in earning more, there's a video linked in the top right corner that explains how wealthy people legally manage their taxes. Perpetually compound wealth and knowledge. To build generational wealth, both wealth and knowledge need to grow together. The more you learn, the better your chances for making successful investments and decisions. Wealthy people read a lot because there's valuable information in books, whether it's financial advice or tips on living a more fulfilling life. The more knowledge you gain, the more opportunities you'll find to increase your wealth. One of the most powerful tools for wealth creation is compounding. You may have heard Einstein's famous quote, "Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it." The secret to wealth is using compounding to your advantage. Smart investors move their earnings into new areas that continue to generate wealth in a cycle that never stops. The key is to keep compounding both your money and your knowledge, ensuring your wealth grows steadily over time. Marrying well. Who someone marries plays a crucial role in building and preserving wealth across generations. Divorce, especially without a prenup, can significantly reduce family wealth. For example, if a person has children and one of them gets divorced, much of the family's wealth could be lost. Historically, arranged marriages were common as families formed financial alliances to ensure their wealth stayed within the family. In wealthier societies, families tend to have fewer children. This helps them focus their resources on giving each child the best opportunity in life. If both spouses are only children, wealth from both sides of the family tends to remain intact. In the case of their children marrying other only children, the wealth in the family bloodline can increase, passing down through future generations. Mentoring the next generation. However, one of the greatest asks that wealthy families have to overcome is the question of succession with regards to business and properties. For instance, research reveals that only 30% of family businesses go to the second generation. This is why most new millionaires are first generation, individuals who created their wealth from scratch. If children were not put in a position to perform better than our parents, then that is a bad way of planning to be a family and poorly preparing for generations. Raising successful children is not just about making sure they have their needs met in the most fundamental ways. It goes much deeper than that. For them to manage and increase the family wealth is crucial to instill the right values, skills, and attitude in them. Your own success and accomplishments should be a motivation for your children to keep on with the progress you have made. You want them to know not only how to invest, but how to grow it, how to innovate, and even how to do things beyond what has already been done. In an attempt to preserve and increase the family wealth, most affluent families seek legal entities referred to as trusts. A trust is in fact a legal mechanism that regulates the use of assets and the access to them. This puts the wealth for generations within the family on condition that several factors are observed. For instance, you might establish goals that your children must reach before they receive the money through achieving certain accomplishments, such as being financially literate. Furthermore, most of the trusts can also lower the taxes that would be charged on the wealth at rates lower than normal tax rates. Using trusts not only protects wealth, but also gives families a way to pass it down in a structured and purposeful way. This ensures that your hard-earned wealth will continue to grow and benefit your family for many generations to come. The 5% rule for withdrawing from wealth. One of the less well-known approaches to wealth protection is the 5% rule. If wealth increases at a rate of between 6 and 10% per year, then only half of the earnings should be taken. For instance, when having $1 million, 10% annual increase means an additional $100,000. Rather than cash $100,000, only $50,000 should be spent, leaving the other $50,000 to earn the compounded interest. This strategy helps to maintain the accumulation of wealth and not the other way around. It extends for generations by living a frugal lifestyle and watching the money grow over time. Normally, in cases of death, instead of the children inheriting the wealth, it goes to the grandchildren because normally by the time a parent is a grandparent, the child is so grown up with his or her own life to lead. A good will helps to ensure that the wealth is inherited by the right people and not wasted. It should be on the development of an endowment that will be of value in the future to future generations and not on the present generation children. This way, more wealth is created for the future generations because long-term financial plans are sustainable. The actions that the rich take in order to ensure that their money stays in their families for generations are long-term in nature. Preparing the next generation, establishing corporate structures such as a trust, and making some sound decisions on family and marriage affairs are all important. These measures contribute to the preservation of generated capital and its further increase for many years. It is also important to note that any successful planning for the future should go beyond the present in order to produce a lasting result.